Hello, this is Sir Riel, and in this video, I'm going to discuss human development for week 4 and 5. So to begin this lesson, let's have the intended learning objectives. After the completion of the chapter, students will be able to, number 1, describe the role of reproduction and conception in human development. Second, discuss different psychological theories on human development and its application to the practice of psychology, and explain the different stages of human development and its accompanying roles and expectations in the biological and sociocultural lens. So to start this discussion, let us define the meaning of human development. So it is described as how people change, as you can see here, how people change and how people stay the same over time. So human development is a pattern of movement, or it can be a change that begins at conception and continues throughout the lifespan. So human development can be both positive and it can be negative. It can be positive kapag may growth, just like this one. And it can be negative kapag nag-stop or na-decline. So let us proceed with this one. So development involves the whole individual and all of his different aspects, such as your physical. It has something to do with your body, structure, and also motor skills. It can be your cognition, such as your mental abilities. It has something to do also with your personality and emotional. It includes your self-concept or self-perception, gender identity, emotions and feelings, and also your self-esteem, and also your social interactions and relationship with other people. So development is relatively orderly, as you can see dito sa picture na ito. Okay? Try to observe it from prenatal stage. Okay. Next, we have infancy stage from birth to 2 years. We also have early childhood, 3 to 5 years. Middle and late childhood, 6 to 12 years. Adolescence, 13 to 18 years. Early adulthood, 19 to 20 years. Middle adulthood, 30 to 60 years. Okay, it should be 29. It should be 29, okay? Next, we have late adulthood, 61 and above. Finally, to death. So, as you can see, there are certain development and growth happen in every stage that is relatively orderly, katulad ng sinabi ko kanina. In short, merong sequence. No? Hindi pwedeng tumalon from prenatal, tapos magiging ano kaagad, adolescence kaagad. Tapos natulog ka lang and then late adulthood ka na. Okay? So, may sequence, may orderly na tinatawag from prenatal to infancy to early childhood, middle and late childhood, adolescence. We have early adulthood, middle adulthood, and late adulthood. So next one tayo. So human development can be influences both normative and non-normative. Paano pag sinabi nating normative? It is a biological and environmental influences which occur in similar way for most people. So paano pag sinabi nating normative? First, paano daw tayo na-influensyahan? First, we have age graded. So it has something to do with It is a particular to an age group. So in short, naiimpluwensyahan tayo nung um, kapareho natin ng edad. Okay? Mostly, ayan. An example to this one, puberty, or you are going to school, like formal schooling, something like that. Okay. Next, we also have influenced by history graded. Paano naman pag history graded? It has something to do with particular to a common generation. No, meron tayong tinatawag na cohort. It is a group of people who share a similar experiences. Kumbaga yung common na traditions natin, yung culture natin, and etc. Or even the history, that is what we call as normative influences. We have age group or age graded, and also history graded. And na-impluwensyahan din tayo with what we call as non-normative. These are occurrences not common to most people. They are unusual events that have a major impact on an individual's life. So ito yung mga events that can be traumatic, such as pwedeng death, no, namatayan ka. Pwede rin yung um, cancer as teen. Halimbawa, teen ka pa lang, tapos may cancer ka na agad. Or even yung mga accident, like car accident, no? Something happened sa'yo during that time. Yung mga, sabihin na natin as unusual events happening in a reality. Again, when we talk about normative influence, we have particularly to an age group, and also we have culture and tradition. And we also have normative, such as unusual events, like a traumatic event or anything. So next tayo. So development is in constant interaction with the environment. Biological systems perspective. A child develops within a complex and dynamic system of relationship, and is affected by them. We have the 5 systems. So let's try to discuss each system. First, we have microsystem. It is the primary relationships or the immediate surrounding. So kapag sinabi nating microsystem, ito yung tinatawag nating most influential, most closest relationship to the person. Kumbaga meron tayong tinatawag na direct contact. So it includes your family, school, your peers, and even your neighborhood. Yan yung tinatawag nating microsystem. Yung mga primary source ng relationship na meron yung isang tao. Next, we have mesosystem. It is a connections among a person's microsystems. Kumbaga, kung yung microsystem, it has something to do with your family, yung primary relationships mo. In mesosystem naman, it is a combination of 2 or more microsystems. For example, a child's mesosystem might be your home, or even your school, or your peers, even your family, or your family and your school. Next, we also have exosystem, settings that do not involve a person but is still affected by it. So when we talk about exosystem, it refers to one or more settings that do not involve the developing person as an active participant. So, pag sinabi nating ecosystem, uh, these are environments in which the child is not involved and external to their experiences, but nonetheless affect them anyway. Halimbawa natin dito ay kung yung microsystem ay primary relationship, yung exosystem naman, ito naman yung medyo malapit sa atin. Pero hindi mo masasabi na directly na i-impluwensyahan ka niya or siya yung nagiging source of influences mo. An example of exosystem, we have neighborhood. It can be parents' workplace. It can be social media or your parents' friend. Not directly, pero nai-impluwensyahan ka pa rin niya. Next, we have macro system. It describes the culture in which individuals live. So when we talk about the macro system, ito naman yung mas larger na culture or culture as a whole, kabuuan. It includes the socioeconomic status, yung wealth mo, yung poverty na meron sa environment, and also your and even your ethnicity. It can also affect. And last, we have chronosystem, influences of historical time in shaping one's environment and life experiences. Kumbaga, pag sinabi nating chronosystem, timing of these events can influence a person's life. An example to this one, no, nag-exist ka nung time na may pandemic, so ito yung naabutan mo, no? So it can affect your human development. Halimbawa, even natural disasters or even global civil rights protests, something like that. So for us, para mas maintindihan pa natin ano ba itong 5 system na nakaka-influence dun sa human development na meron tayo, let's have this figure. As you can see, yan. Ano daw yung nakaka-affect sa kanya or nakaka-influence? First, we have the microsystems. It includes, di ba sabi natin kanina, primary relationship, no? Directedness. We have the microsystems such as your family, religious settings, peer groups, and even your classroom. Next, we talk about the mesosystem. In mesosystem naman, sabi natin, combination of 2 or more microsystems. So it can be family and classroom, classroom and peer group and religious settings, or religious settings and family. Or pwede rin sila magkapalit-palit. Okay? Next, isa din sa nakaka-affect, no? Sa human development na meron tayo, we have exosystem. In exosystem naman, sabi natin kanina, it involved the developing of a person, pero not directly. Okay? So it includes, ayan, neighborhood, your community, school system can be, medical institutions, mass media, and etc. Next, so nakaka-affect din sa human development or child development. We also have macro system here, or yung sabi natin kanina as larger culture, mas malawak, no? It includes political philosophy, economic patterns, we have social conditions, cultural values, and even national customs. And we have the chronosystem here. Yung sinabi ko kanina as timing of your existence, or sabihin na natin yung birth mo, can influence your life or a child's life. Again, what are the 5 systems that can affect the child development? We have microsystems or microsystem. We have mesosystem, exosystem, macrosystem, and chronosystem. So now let us proceed with the 3 issues in development. First, we have nature versus nurture, continuity versus discontinuity, and stability versus change. So ano nga ba pag sinabi nating nature and nurture? Hindi porket sinabi nating nature, that is an environment. No? When we talk about nature in psychology, it is something to do with genes and hereditary factors, physical appearance, personality, characteristics. Halimbawa, namana ko ito kay 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 tatay ko or kay nanay ko, something like that. Okay? And we also have nurture. It has something to do with environmental variables, childhood experiences, how we were raised, social relationships, surrounding culture. Sige, give tayo ng differences nila. Halimbawa, yung pagiging gay. At some point, and at some part, may mga nagsasabi na it is nature, no? Namana. And meron din na nagsasabi na it has something to do with environmental factors na nahawa from your environment. Okay? Okay, next we have continuity versus discontinuity. So when we talk about continuity, kumbaga changes are gradual. So as you can see here, do children develop through a continuous process of being around others and learning from others? So, andito yung tinatawag natin na gradual increase when it comes to your responses and also your behavior. Things such as increase when it comes to your height and even your weight, no? Pwedeng mag-fall under in continuity. Just like in stages of development, like infancy, we have early childhood, late childhood, adolescence, and etc. No, when we talk about continuity, may progress, may development, and continuous siya. While the discontinuity, look at this one, do children develop in discontinuous stages? Example, one day they are a child, the next day are a teenager. Kumbaga yung progress and development, no, ay nagdi-distinct or sabihin na natin as distinct lang siya in a stages. Kumbaga, may progress when it comes to infancy, tapos tumigil siya ng um, early childhood, tapos nagkaroon ulit siya ng progress when it comes to late childhood, tapos tumigil ulit siya during the adolescence. So, hindi siya continuous. Hindi continuous yung progress, hindi continuous yung development. Okay, so let us proceed with the next one. So next we have stability versus change. So when we talk about stability, it is the belief that personality traits develop in the first 5 years predict adult personality. Some aspects of temperament, such as energy, level, and outgoingness, seem relatively stable. An example to this one, a young child that is shy will remain shy through adulthood. Andito yung tinatawag natin na stagnant. Kung ano ka nung ikaw ay bata pa, nadadala mo siya hanggang pagtanda mo. Walang pagbabago. Unlike in change, ayan, so personalities are modified through interactions with family, experiences at school, and acculturation. Social attitudes usually change a great deal from childhood to adulthood. So from the time na ikaw ay napakamahiyain, no, nagbabago because of the environment. No, shape ka ng environment na kumbaga ikaw ay namomold nila into a better one. From the time na ikaw ay napakamahiyain up until nagkaroon ka na ng self-confidence sa sarili mo, mas nakilala mo na yung sarili mo, mas alam mo na kung ano yung mga dapat mong gawin. Okay? So again, what are the three here? What are the three issues in development? First, we have nature versus nurture. When we talk about again the nature, it has something to do with the genes, heredity, while the nurture, it has something to do with the environment, influences. Next, we have continuity, continuous progress or continuous development versus discontinuity or distinct lang siya in stages. And we have stability, stagnant versus change. Okay, next. So now let us proceed with Psychosexual Theory of Development by Sigmund Freud. So itong psychosexual theory ay under ng psychoanalytic theory. So in Freudian psychology, psychosexual development is a central element of the psychoanalytic sexual drive theory. So Sigmund Freud believed that personality developed through a sense of childhood stages. Di ba when we talk about psychoanalytic theory, yung childhood experiences mo, it has something to do with the libido na kapag siya ay napigilan, malaki yung tendency na magkaroon siya ng effect kapag ikaw ay lumaki na. Okay? And now, pag-uusapan natin yan. So, according to Sigmund Freud, meron tayong tinatawag na three parts of the unconscious. Whereas, diniscuss din natin ito nung topic number 1 natin. So, according to Sigmund Freud, meron daw tayong three parts of unconscious. We have the id, ego, and superego. Again, when we talk about the id, it has something to do with pleasure principle. Yung mga wants natin, yung mga desires natin. Unconsciously, no? Ito yung kumaga urge natin bilang isang tao. Next, we have the ego or the rational adult, kumbaga yung reality na tinatawag, na nagbabalance between the id and the superego. While the superego is the conservative senior or our conscience. So, kumbaga andito, pag sinabi ni id na gusto ko yan, sasabihin naman, ikokontrahin naman yan ng superego na ibabalance niya kung ano yung tama sa mali. Okay? So let's have the example here. Ayan. So first we have the id. Look, sabi niya, I want it now. And then, sabi naman ni superego, you can't. You can't have it. It's not right. While si ego, si reality, I need to do a bit of planning to get it. So see the difference or see the differences? Okay. Now, let's talk about the stages, the psychosexual stages of development according to Sigmund Freud. So yan. Okay. So each stage focuses on the different erogenous zone. So when we talk about erogenous zone or erogenous areas, it has something to do with anong part ba yung kailangan ng anong part na yung kailangan na masatisfy natin. Okay? Example, mouth, anus, genitals, and etc. So an excitable part of the body where our sexual or libidinal energies are focused on. According to Sigmund Freud, or Freud claimed that some people get stuck at one particular stage at kapag daw iyon ay napigilan, no, yung stage na yon, they become fixated. And kapag nagkaroon ng fixation, it can be manifest in adulthood or pwede siyang magkaroon ng effect kapag ikaw ay tumanda na. So sometimes the fixation is caused by frustration, sometimes by over indulgence, and it's always the parents' faults. So let us see yung psychosexual stages of development. First stage, we have what we call as the oral stage. Paki-note ito, okay? First stage, we have the oral stage. So yung age niya from birth to 12 to 18 months or 0 to 1 year old. So yung focus of libido dito, yung desire niya, yung unconscious desire niya, focus ng libido dito is the mouth and lips. Kumbaga, are the center of pleasure. So source of pleasurable sensation is the mouth, where the child sucks, swallows, and also bites. Ito yung kailangan na, kumbaga kailangan makuha ng bata. No? And once na mapigilan yon, no, nagkakaroon tayo ng oral fixation. So oral fixation occurs when oral needs are not met or are overindulgence. Kumbaga nung pinigilan siya, ayan, nagkaroon ng fixation. So tendency, nung paglaki mo, ano ba yung nangyari? We have gossiping, overeating, or even smoking, and etc. So when we talk about gossiping, no, napaka-chismosa. Ayan. Puro negative yung lumalabas sa bibig. And overeating. And also too much smoking. No, kasi napigilan yung pleasure. This is according to psychoanalytic theory, especially the psychosexual theories, stages of development. No, napigilan, kaya tendency, nagkaroon ng effect nung adulthood niya. Naging chismosa, ang lakas kumain, or ang lakas mag-smoke, and etc. So next tayo. So in stage number 2 naman, we have the Annal Stage. It is between 12 to 18 months up to 3 years old. So 1 to 3. Ayan. So yung focus naman ng libido dito ay yung anus. Okay? So first encounter with social constraints. Children are free to expel waste. Toilet training dampens this freedom. Kumbaga, hayaan natin yung ano no, yung bata na gumawa para sa sarili niya. Huwag natin siyang pakialamanan, huwag natin siyang pigilan. Pero andun pa rin yung supervision mo kung paano yung dapat gawin. Pero dapat nagkakaroon na siya ng sense of um, sense of independent, ganyan, or independence when it comes to toilet training. Like, ang gagawin mo as a parent, no? Ang gagawin mo ay magbibigay ka ng, ipipraise mo siya, basta magbibigay ka ng reward sa kanya. So, tendency kapag naman na-erase yung ano, yung reward, parang hinayaan mo lang siya, bahala ka diyan, and etc. Doon naman papasok si anal fixation. So, adults symbolically withholds feces, like controlling. They are very stubborn and also stingy. Ayun yung common na ano na possible na mangyari once na mapigilan yung pleasure natin when it comes to toilet training. So, and also adult symbolically expels feces like wasteful, messy, and disorganized. So, again, it has something to do with the toilet training. na once na ma-erase yung reward mo when it comes to your baby, to your child, and then dito na papasok na kapag laki niya, hindi na siya maayos sa kwarto niya, tapos very ano siya, very controlling siya when it comes to other people. And aside from that, nahihirapan siya na iayos din yung mga bagay-bagay na nasa paligid niya. Ayan. So, next tayo. Next, we have the phallic stage. So, when we talk about the phallic stage, so age niya naman from 3 to 6 years. So, ang focus of pleasure shift to the genital area. At first, when we talk about the anal sa mouth, andun yung libidinal, yung focus ng libido. And then in anal naman ay focus dun sa anus, toilet training, yung pagdumi. Now we have the phallic. So when we talk about the phallic, yung focus naman ng libido dito, no, shift naman siya into genital area or yung ari. So we will talk about kung ano ba yung pinagkaiba ng boys and also girls when it comes to this kind of um, situation. So for boys, meron tayong tinatawag na Oedipal complex or Oedipus complex. It has something to do with young boys have unconscious urge to eliminate their fathers in order to fulfill a sexual need. Again, young boys have an unconscious urge to eliminate their fathers in order to fulfill a sexual need to be with their mother. So according to this theory, na once na andito na tayo sa stage na ito, sa age na ito, um, yung mga boys daw, no, young boys, nagkakaroon sila ng unconscious urge or yung desire nila para sa sexual need para sa kanilang um, mothers. Kumbaga, nagiging rival nila dito yung kanilang father. So meron tayong tinatawag na castration anxiety. So when we talk about castration anxiety in psychoanalytic concept, no, introduced by Sigmund Freud again, it is something to do with um, pagde-describe like yung fear, yung takot na putulin yung penis nila. Ayan. Look at this one. A fear of having their penis cut off by their fathers upon realization of boys' desire for their mother. So, kumbaga, nagkakaroon ng castration anxiety yung bata once na parang feeling niya, alam na nung father niya na yun nga may sexual pleasure siya sa kanyang mother. So, andito yung feeling niya na puputulin yung kanyang ari, pero unconsciously, hindi naman yun talaga possible na mangyari, di ba? In a real life situation. Yan ay naiisip lang during at this age ng bata. Ayan. So, aside from that, causes boys to stop desiring their mothers. So, paano naman kapag napigilan yung sinasabi natin na libidinal or yung pleasure, yung id ni young boy sa kanyang mother. So, ang tendency naman nun ay nagkakaroon tayo ng sexual dysfunction or sabihin na natin as walang gana when it comes to sexual activity kapag adulthood ka na, kapag laki mo. Okay? So, next tayo. Okay naman, for girls naman, it has something to do with penis envy. So young girls realize that they are without penises. They blame the mother for their lack of penis. No, nagkakaroon na ng confusion yung young girls like bakit wala silang penis? And then boys ay meron. Yung father nila ay meron. So and then they then identify with their fathers. So meron tayong tinatawag na electra complex. It has something to do with unconscious desire a young girl has for her father. So kabaliktaran naman ito ng Oedipus or Oedipal complex. So precipitated by the lack of penis for which the young girl blames her mother for. Kumbaga sa boys kanina, 'di ba, nagiging rival niya yung kanyang father. In Electra complex naman, sinisisi niya yung kanyang mother for not having the penis. Ayan. So let's see kung ano nga ba yung mga possible na pwedeng mangyari once na hindi nila ma-achieve yung pleasure nila during sa age na to at during sa stage na to. So meron tayong tinatawag na, ayan, fixations for phallic stage. So unresolved conflict with same-sex parent. Ito yung mga possible na pwedeng mangyari. Problems dealing with people in authority, such as your parents, older siblings, teachers, and even your bosses. No, yung mga mas mataas sa'yo, nahihirapan kang makipag-deal sa kanila. Nahihirapan kang, kumbaga, yung mapanatag yung loob mo sa kanila. Like, nagkikreate ito ng conflict with them. So, uncertainty about one's identity or confusion, problems in maintaining romantic relationship, no? Such as papalit-palit. It can be papalit-palit or nawawalan ka agad ng gana. And also, we have aberrant sexual behavior or sabihin na natin as abnormal sexual behavior. So next tayo, we have latency stage. When we talk about latency stage, so 6 to 11, it can be 12 years. So, temporary repression of the libido. Ibig sabihin, yung focus ng libido niya ay none. And then, for this one naman, kumbaga nadadirect naman yung pag-iisip or yung focus ng bata when it comes to social relationships. It is very important. Okay? So, yung kailangan ma-develop sa kanya ay yung socialicism. Kailangan makapag-develop siya ng new skills, no? Hayaan natin siya na mag-explore. So for adult fixation, paglaki niya, let's see. So it's none, kumbaga, does not really develop in adult fixation kasi none naman yung kanyang focus of libido. Okay. So next, we have the genital, the last stage. Genital stage, 12 years old, pataas. Okay? So sexual drive returns with vengeance, coupled with their onslaught of puberty. Focus of pleasure return to the genitals. Object of sexual desire, the opposite sex. Sige. So kung sa phallic stage, dun sa stage number 3, yung focus of libido niya ay genital, yung ari. Tapos nawala siya during the latency, babalik ulit yung focus of libidinal dun sa genital ulit, dun sa ari ulit. Okay? Pero kung yun sa sa phallic stage, andun yung sexual desire natin sa parents natin. It has something to do with the theory of Sigmund Freud. Okay, dun sa phallic stage ay dun sa parents natin. Now, magta-turn naman yung from parents into the opposite sex. Okay? So, ano ba yung kailangan ma-develop when it comes to genital stage? Yung sexual maturity. No? Yung opposite sex na you get attracted, you want some sexual activity with that person. Ayan, dapat opposite sex. So, kumbaga dito yung tinatawag natin na life till death. Ayan. So, ano naman yung possible na mangyari kapag hindi naman natin ito na-achieve, no? Of course, yung adult fixation niya ay you are not um, mentally healthy. Ganyan. Andito yung tinatawag natin na ano, na confusion, no? Kumbaga, um, andito yung tinatawag natin na hindi mo pa rin kilala totally yung self mo, yung gusto mo. Okay? Now, just to give you some summarization about the psychosexual stages of development. Ayan. Again, when we talk about psychoanalytic muna, it has something to do with your childhood experiences na pwedeng maka-apekto sa pagtanda mo. So according to Sigmund Freud, meron tayong tinatawag na three parts of unconscious, whereas we have the id, the pleasure, the ego, the reality, and the superego, the consciousness. So in psychosexual stages of development, meron tayong lima. We have oral, anal, phallic, latency, and genitals. In oral, ano ba yung focus niya, yung erogenous zone niya? We have the mouth. How about the anal? We have the anus. How about the phallic? We have the genital. How about the latency? We have none. And how about the genital again? Ano yung focus of libido niya? We have genital. Okay? In oral, kapag napigilan um, yung pag-bite ng bata, no? May tendency na kapag laki niya, nandito yung napakalakas niya mag-smoke, um, sobrang lakas niya kumain, or nagiging chismosa siya, and etc. In anal naman, it has something to do with toilet training, no? Nandito yung pag-praise din natin dun sa bata na gumawa na, okay, tama yung ginagawa mo, hayaan mo siya magkaroon ng kumbaga, maging independent siya. Ayan. So, tendency kapag na napigilan yon kapag laki niya, very messy, disorganized siya, and etc. In phallic naman, no, meron tayong tinatawag na Oedipus complex and Electra complex. In Oedipus complex, it has something to do with young boys na nagkakaroon siya ng sexual pleasure sa kanyang mother. And we have the Electra complex, si young girl naman na nagkakaroon ng sexual pleasure when it comes to her father. So once na mapigilan, nagkakaroon ng sexual dysfunction or loss of sexual pleasure or sexual activity towards the other person. In latency naman, 6 to 12, focus of libido again, none. Nandito yung socialicism, develop of new skills. In genital naman, yung last stage, 12 pataas. So from wala na libidinal focus, mapupunta ulit siya sa genital. Pero dito naman, yung focus naman na yung focus niya dun sa sexual um, pleasure na yon ay mapupunta dun sa opposite sex. Okay? Example, boy to girl, girl to boy. Ayan. So, kapag ito ay hindi napigilan o kapag ito ay nagkaroon ng fixation, it is very mentally unhealthy for the for adulthood. Okay. So let's evaluate Freud's theory. Ano ba yung pros dito? Number one, challenge the face of psychology. Now, even though hindi siya kino-considered as father of psychology, kasi si Sigmund Freud ay neurologist, ano, pero malaki yung naging ambag niya when it comes to psychology. First, to highlight the role of childhood experiences in shaping adult personality. How about the cons? Overemphasis on sex. Ayan. Derogatory to women or very disrespectful para sa mga kababaihan. And we have overly culture-bound Victorian era. Kumbaga, masyado na siyang matagal, Victorian era pa lang. And during the Victorian era, marami na rin ng ang against sa kanya. Ang dami na rin, kumbaga questionable talaga ang kanyang theory. Marami ang umaayaw, marami ang not just only against, pero ang daming, kumbaga, dito yung tinatawag natin na controversial. Ayan. So, next tayo. So, Theory of Cognitive Development by John Piaget. So first, John Piaget is a Swiss psychologist na naging famous for his work on child development and his theory on cognitive development. So si John Piaget din also ay pioneer in the field of children education. Yan, pag-uusapan natin yung stages according to him, like sensory motor stage, pre-operational, concrete operational, and also yung last one we have formal operational. But first, ayan. So here are some important ideas when it comes to cognitive development theory, according to John Piaget. First, we have what we call as schema. Ayan. So when we talk about schema, it is the basic units of intellect, a tools for learning about the world, a type of mental script or a sketch for a situation, event, or problem. So when we talk about schema, it is a pattern, ano, um, another, kumbaga, different categories when it comes to learning. Sige, magbibigay ako ng best example for this one. Halimbawa, as a child, di ba, wala pang learning, wala ka pang alam, no? Pero through your experiences, doon pa lang nag-start yung learning, yung knowledge. Now, halimbawa nakakita ka ng dog, ayan, tinanong mo kay mama mo, ano yun? Sabi ni mother mo, that is a dog. Ganyan. Tapos ang nangyari, nakita mo yung dog, na yung dog ay may tail, mabalahibo, tapos nakatayo yung kanyang yung kanyang tenga, tapos nagbabark siya or tumatahol siya. So ikaw, no, nagkaroon ka na ng pattern kung paano mo malalaman na yun ay dog. So nagkaroon ka na tuloy ng schema of the dog or schema of a dog na yung dog ay may four legs, halimbawa, yung dog ay mabalahibo, na nagbabark siya, at ganito yung sound niya. That is what we call as schema, yung pattern. Okay? Pattern ng knowledge. So next. Next, what is assimilation naman? That is very important then when we talk about cognitive development. So when we talk about assimilation naman, it is a process of taking in new information that easily fits into an existing schema. We change information to fit into our established schemas. So kanina may established na tayo ng schema ng dog. Halimbawa, yan. Halimbawa lang naman. Yan. I'm sorry for my drawing. No? Halimbawa yan yung dog natin. Ayan. So, ito na established na schema mo na may tail siya, na may apat na legs siya, na nagbabark siya. Now, in assimilation, for us, para mas maintindihan pa nung bata kung ano nga ba yung dog, magbibigay pa tayo ng another example ng dog na not totally kapareho niya. Like, halimbawa ay mas smaller sa kanya, pero same as dog. That is what we call as assimilation. No, nagkakaroon tayo ng new information in order for us para maituro natin dun sa bata kung ano yung kung ano yung thing na yon or yung object na yon. Okay? Halimbawa, another example pa. Ayan, here. All four-legged animals are seen as doggies. At first, meron tayong schema na four-legged animals. And then nag-add tayo ng another information like doggies. Next, all women are seen as mommies. At first, meron tayong schema about women. And then nag-add pa tayo ng mommies in order for us para mas maituro natin dun sa mga bata na, ayun, na almost the same lang din sila. No, mas maintindihan niya pa yung object na yon or yung bagay na yon. So next tayo. So next we have accommodation. It is a process of modifying, differentiating existing schemas to better fit new information. When a child changes his or her schemas in the response to new knowledge or experience. So kanina in schema, um, na-mention ko dito yung tinatawag nating pattern para malaman natin yung object na yon. In assimilation, nag-add tayo ng another same na object para malaman nung bata kung ano nga ba talaga yon na ma-visualize niya. In accommodation naman, example, nakakita yung bata ng goat. Ayan. So, at some point, no, at somehow, medyo related siya, kamukha siya ng dog. So, nagkakaroon tuloy ng thinking yung bata na, halimbawa, mami, sabi niya, yan ay dog. No? Tapos, as a parent, syempre, babaguhin mo yung ganong, magkakaroon ng modification. So, sasabihin mo dun sa bata na, no, no, that's not a dog, that is a goat. So si bata tuloy, nagkakaroon na siya ng modifying and differentiating kung ano yung dog na nagbabark, kung ano yung sound niya sa goat. So meron ng comparison na tinatawag. Okay? So next tayo. So we have equilibrium. So John Piaget believed that natural need to understand how the world works, find order, kung ano ba yung structure na meron tayo, and also the predictability, na according to him na when we talk about equilibrium, kailangan daw balance, no? Yung tinatawag nating assimilation and also yung accommodation. Ayan. Equilibrium balance is attained when a child learns to accommodate. When schemes are in accordance with the demands of the world. So may natutunan na, nag-work na. Okay? Now, let us proceed with the stages. This is very important for you to know. So, first stage, according to John Piaget, we have the sensory motor stage. So, paki-take note, we have 0 to, okay, 0 to 2 years. Ayan. So, when we talk about the sensory, it has something to do with your senses. Okay? Kumbaga nakaka-gather tayo ng information about the world we live in through our senses. Halimbawa, sense of taste, sense of touch, um, and many more. Okay? And then we also have the motor. What is motor? Motor is very active, no? Like exploring the world and also learn what they capable of. Ayan. So, with this one, in sensory motor, sabi natin kanina, no? We gather informations through our senses. So, infants understand the world through sensory experiences and physically interaction with other objects. So, nagkikreate na tuloy ng or nade-develop na tuloy yung tinatawag nating object permanence. So the understanding that objects continue to exist even when outside of the infant's perception. So in short, pag sinabi nating object permanence, infant don't really recognize the object, kung ano yung pinakita mo sa kanyang object, like a toy. Still nag-exist siya doon sa 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 bata kahit na alisin mo yung bagay na yon. Halimbawa, best example to this one, yung 0 to 2 na bata, imagine nyo ha, and then nagbigay ka ng toy sa kanya. So, pumapasok na yun sa utak niya, yung toy na yun, pero hindi niya yun alam. Okay? Pero, kapag inalis mo yun, nasa mind niya yun, pero hindi niya yun hahanapin. Ano? Although, nag-stuck na siya sa mind kung ano yung form niya, pero hindi niya yun alam. Okay? Kumbaga, yung mga infant ay they don't understand that that object is exist. Halimbawa, okay? So here is an example of what we call as object permanence. Ayan. So nagbigay ka ng toy sa bata. And then after that, syempre, papasok yan sa utak niya pero hindi niya yan alam. Ano ba yan? So questionable for him or for her. And then after nan, inalis mo. No? Hindi niya yan hahanapin pero mag-stuck yan sa mind niya. Okay? That is what we call as object permanence. So next, we have pre-operational. Child is now able to use mental images. Coming from the word operational, ayan, ibig sabihin nito ay mental operation. Kumbaga yung mga imagination things, something like that. But is still unable to perform mental operations. Okay? So, when we talk about pre-operational, andito yung bata na 2 to 7 years old, imagine nyo, no? Even though nagkakaroon na siya ng ideas when it comes to things, like yung shapes, ano ba yung itsura nito, ano ba yung symbols nito, pero hindi pa yan totally nag-stuck sa kanya. Like ano ba talaga to? Or paano ko ba talaga ito ipapasok sa utak ko? Or anong klase ba ito? Or anong quantity ba ito? Anong quality ba ito? So nahihirapan pa siya na i-distinguish yung bagay-bagay. Okay? So andito yung tinatawag nating representational or symbolic thinking. Like, halimbawa yung square, yung triangle, yung circle, no? Once na itinuro yan dun sa bata, this is according to John Piaget, no? Nagkakaroon pa lang siya ng understanding about the idea of the symbols. Pero wala pa rin siyang mas malawak na idea about that. Okay? So, palawakin pa natin siya. Okay. So, we have 3 concepts when it comes to pre-operational. First, we have centration. Next, we have inability to conserve and egocentrism. Mga under ito ng pre-operational. Okay. Proceed tayo with this one. Okay. We have centration. So child's propensity to focus on only one aspect of a stimulus at a time. A young child's tendency to focus only on his or her own perspective of a specific object and a failure to understand that others may see things differently. In short, when we talk about centration, nakafocus lang siya doon sa sarili niyang perspective. Kumbaga, kung ano yung nakita niyang object, halimbawa, a circle, ayun lang yung focus niya. No, hindi na siya nagpapalawak ng ideas. Okay. And to add to this, no, centration also ay not only focus on his or her own perspective doon sa object na yon, but nakikita niya lang na yung object na yon ay just only an object. Halimbawa, a dog. Nakikita niya lang yun as a dog, pero hindi na niya alam kung ano yung purpose ng dog na yon. Okay? So next. So under then ng concept ng pre-operational, we have inability to conserve. Child does not understand the process of conservation, cannot mentally reserve an action. So kung mapapansin natin yung mga bata, ano, hindi pa nila totally alam kung ano yung tama sa mali. Okay? Like, okay, uh, try to do this siguro at home. Maglagay kayo ng ng dalawang basong tubig sa harapan ng bata. Okay? And then, dapat same ng level ng baso, tapos same din ng amount ng water. Ngayon, pag tinanong mo yung bata, um, ano yung mas mataas yung ano yung mas mataas yung level ng water? Ang magiging answer ng bata, wala. Kasi pantay. Pantay yung baso. And also, pantay din yung water na nilagay mo. Now, ang gagawin mo, papalitan mo now yung baso. Gagawin mo siyang mas malaking baso. Pero mas thinner siya. Tapos ilagay mo yung water dun. Yung water na yun, na same amount lang ng water. Tapos itatanong mo ulit sa bata, ano yung mas maraming water? Ang pipiliin ng bata kung ano yung mas mataas. Wala siyang, hindi niya pa alam na pareho, same amount of water lang naman yun. Ano? Kumbaga nagbe-base siya kung ano yung mas mataas. Yun yung thinking niya ng mas maraming water. Not knowing na same amount of water lang naman yung nilagay. Yun nilagay mo. Okay? So, inability to conserve. So, next. Ayan, just like this one. Yan. At first, I think, try nyo to sa mga bata, no? So, first, we have this. Tapos, papapiliin mo yung bata, no? Sabi mo, ano yung mas maraming amount of water? Sagot niya, wala, kasi pantay. Now, pinalitan mo ng baso. Tapos, nilagay mo lang naman yung water dito. Di dapat same amount lang siya, di ba? So, pipiliin ng bata ito kasi mas mataas nga naman yung water. Not knowing na mas thinner naman yung baso na ginamit mo. Okay? That is what we call as inability to conserve. And last one, we have egocentrism. Child's inability to consider viewpoints other than his own. Difficulty in seeing the world through someone else's perspective. Sabihin na natin na um, wala pa silang pakialam sa perspective na meron ka. Ano? Hindi naman ito negative, yung pagiging egocentrism, kasi nga, hindi pa rin naman alam ng bata kung ano talaga yung tama sa mali. No, hindi pa siya marunong magpalawak ng kanyang ideas about sa nangyayari. Ang alam niya lang naglalaro siya, no? Kung saan lang siya happy, ganyan. Yun lang yung focus niya. So next tayo, just like this, egocentrism. Oh, okay. Egocentric conversations. Look, so my dad is a policeman. He caught a robber once. Sabi naman nung bata, I have a real I have a real big dog. He licked my face all the time. So, kung mapapansin natin, yung conversation nila ay it's not about kung ano yung sinabi ni Big Boy, no? Mas pinaniwalaan niya kung ano yung perspective niya, kung ano yung nasa isip niya. Okay. So, next tayo. So, last one, we have concrete operational. So, I think this is the third stage, from 7 to 11 years. Again, when we talk about operational, ibig sabihin mental operation. And then, in concrete operational naman, child can now think logically about objects and events. So, they learn ideas like conversation na. Halimbawa nito yung kanina, di ba, in example natin yung inability to conserve. In concrete operational naman ay nalalaman na ng bata, meron na siyang idea about the equal amount of water. No, kapag sinalin mo sa baso, tinanong mo sa kanya, by the way, this is 7 to 11 years old again. Halimbawa, tinanong mo sa kanya na, sino yung mas mataas yung water dito? So now, alam na niya yung answer na, oh, that's the same amount of water even though nag-change lang siya ng glass ng, ng glass of water. Yan. And then, halimbawa, andito na rin yung tinatawag na, pag tinanong mo siya na 12 minus 4, alam niya na yung isasagot niya. That is 8. Something like that. Okay? So, three abilities when we talk about concrete operational, we have seriation, transitive reasoning, and classification. Let's talk about this. So, when we talk about seriation, it is a ability to order objects according to some quantitative dimension. So in short, alam mo na at this age, alam na ng bata at this age na paano i-classify yung bagay-bagay, no? Some of example of seriation yung tinatawag natin formation, yung arrangement, baga meron tayong tinatawag na orderly sequence, yung position, positioning, alam mo na kung paano mo ilalagay or alam na nung bata. In transitive reasoning naman, can now solve transitive reasoning problems. Halimbawa, binigyan ka ng isang situation. So, at this stage, according to John Piaget, nakakasolve na tayo ng problem. Meron ng solution. And last, we have classification. It is the ability to recognize hierarchical relations between sets and subsets. In classifications, no, alam mo na if ano ba yung family ng animals na to. Halimbawa, yung birds, no? Yung different kinds of birds, even flowers, alam mo na kung paano mo siya i-form, yung classifications nila. So, in short, when we talk about the concrete operational stage, may learnings na, may knowledge na. At nadi-distinguish na din ni kid or nung bata na kung ano yung tama sa mali. Okay. So last one, we have what we call as formal operational. It is the highest stage of cognitive development. Adolescent is able to first reason logically, can draw conclusions, formulate and entertain and test hypotheses. So, ito naman yung mga 12 years old pataas. Informal operational naman, sinabi nga pinakamataas sa lahat ng stage, sa lahat ng stages. Ayan. And then in formal operational, andito yung tinatawag natin na abstract concept or even yung consequences of your potential actions, no? More on reasonings na din ito na alam mo na finally or totally na once na gumawa ka ng mali, may punishment yan. Okay? And also, andito yung part na even the rules and regulations, mas nasusunod mo na siya kasi mas naiintindihan mo na siya, mas tumatatak na siya sa utak mo, nagkakaroon na ng purpose, and etc. Okay. So, some short of, ano lang tayo, some short of summarization. In Piaget's theory, we have cognitive development. First, we have sensory stage from 0 to 2 years. Next, we have pre-operational stage. We have 2 to 7 years. Next, we have concrete operational from 7 to 11 years. And last, we have formal operational from 12 years pataas. Yan. So an example of formal operational, we have the pendulum problem. So as you can see, hindi naman ito kaya ng ano ng mga 0 to 2, no? And also 3 to 7. No? Pero pag mga 12 na, ayan, kaya na siya, kaya na yung task. So in pendulum problem, the participant is asked to work out what governs the speed of an object swinging on a piece of string. So for this one, i-examine dito yung variables like yung length, yung weight, yung force of drop, yung height of drop, and etc. So mas mataas na level ng thinking yung kayang gawin na ng formal operational. So next we have Theory of Moral Development by Lawrence Kohlberg. So when we talk about the theory of moral development, it is something to do with your morality or morality ng isang bata. Now, moral development ay may three levels. We have pre-conventional level. Another, we have conventional level. And also, we have post-conventional level. And each level ay meron din silang another levels. Okay? So now let us discuss this one. First, we have pre-conventional level. So moral reasoning is based on immediate consequences. Yung two levels na under ng pre-operational level, we have here punishment orientation. It has something to do with obedience versus punishment. Paki-take note niyo ito, okay? So, I do what I am told so I will not be punished. So, napakasimple lang naman ito when we talk about punishment orientation. Of course, obeying the rules, tendency nun, it will avoid the punishment. Halimbawa, sa school, no, kapag sinunod mo yung teacher mo, hindi kanya papagalitan. Kapag sinunod mo na may assignment ka, hindi ka niya papagalitan. Or kapag hindi mo inaway yung classmate mo, hindi ka ma-report sa guidance office. Okay? That is what we call as obedience versus punishment. Next, so level 2 ng pre-conventional level, we have here, okay, we have here reward orientation. So paki-take note nyo ito. When we talk about reward and orientation, level 2, we have individualism and exchange. So in individualism and exchange, I do what is expected of me in order to gain rewards. So meaning to say, in individualism and exchange, gagawin ko yung expectations mo in order for me para bigyan mo ng reward or para i-praise mo ako. Okay? So in short, nagkakaroon tuloy dito ng ng tinatawag nating gagawa ako ng isang bagay kasi may kapalit. Okay? Like, magbibigay ako sa iyo ng one fourth sheet of paper, pero magpapasa ka sa akin halimbawa ng answer, something like that. Okay? And aside from that, when we talk about individualism and exchange, andito na rin yung children recognize na hindi lang naman isa yung point of view, na meron tayong different individuals have different point of view also. So next tayo. Next level, we have conventional level. Under ng conventional level, we have two levels: good boy, good girl orientation, and social system orientation. First, let us discuss what is conventional level. So moral reasoning is based on conformity to social rules and expectations. So when we talk about good boy and good girl orientation, so this is level 3 na. Okay, level 3. Take note nyo ito. Good boy and good girl. So, very important dito yung relationship with other people. I will do what is good because I want to please others. Gusto mo ma-accept ka ng ibang tao. In this level, no, um, child is good in other people. Or sabihin na natin, child is good to be good in other people. Like, gagawa ako ng mabuti para sa kapwa ko. Ganyan. Kasi gusto ko na maging ganito yung thinking nila sa akin. Gusto ko maging maganda yung perspective or impression nila towards sa personality or identity na meron ako. Okay? So next, we have social system orientation. Paki-take note ito. It has something to do with law and order. So I will obey the law because I wish to do my duty and help maintain social order. So it has something to do with becoming aware of the law in the society. And baga gagawin ko yung susunod ako sa batas kasi I have my duty and responsibilities bilang isang citizen ng country na ito at gusto ko ma-maintain yung social order na yun. Okay? Kaya kung mapapansin nyo in conventional level, kung ano yung sinasabi ng society na tama, yun yung ginagawa natin. Okay? So next one, we have the last one, we have the post-conventional level. So moral reasoning is based on principles and ethical ideas. So under ng post-conventional level, meron tayong two levels. We have morality of social contrast and democracy, and also morality of individual principles and conscience. So for level number 5, andito yung tinatawag natin na social contract. Okay. In social contract, individual are aware na kahit na may law ay hindi naman talaga lahat ay nasusunod. There are law na nabobroke or hindi nasusunod. Okay? Just like here in the Philippines, no, ang dami talagang mga bagay or mga batas na hindi applicable para sa lahat. Halimbawa, yung mga taong napagbibigyan kasi malakas sila. No, kaya ikaw ituloy level ng thinking mo na wala talagang justice. Or sabihin na natin as, halimbawa, sa work mo, ay meron kayong kontrata, pero hindi rin naman siya nasusunod. Ano, um, instead of kailangan mag-photocopy ka lang, yun lang yung work mo, pero ang dami pang pinapatrabaho sa yung iba, like magtimpla ka ng kape, magwalis ka, and etc. Okay? Kumbaga, yung social contract nga na tinatawag or yung kontrata natin in our work ay hindi naman din talaga totally nasusunod. Okay? Next, last one, we have morality of individual principles and conscience. So, ito yung tinatawag natin na universal ethical principles. I will try to follow the laws, but in some cases, I believe they are not right and I must follow conscience. So for this naman, andito na yung nagde-develop ng, ng sarili niyang guidelines kung ano yung tama sa mali. Kasi as you can see, hindi naman lahat ng rules and regulations na pinapatupad ng ibang tao para sa society natin ay tama. Meron pa rin tayong sariling principles natin. May sarili pa rin tayong opinions natin kung ano yung tama sa mali. Kasi to be honest, mahirap naman talagang i-define ano yung tama sa mali. And sometimes, no, pinupush natin yung tama sa ibang tao na nagkikreate tuloy ng conflict. Okay. And aside from that, this is the principles also that is applied to everyone, such as in humanity, it has something to do with justice, with equality, and even the human rights. Okay. So again, we have 3 levels when we talk about moral. Ayan, balikan lang natin. When we talk about moral development, according to Lawrence Kohlberg, we have pre-conventional level, conventional level, and last one, we have post-conventional level. In pre-conventional level, we have 2 levels, such as punishment orientation and reward orientation. In conventional level, we have the 3rd level, good boy and good girl orientation. 4th will be the social system orientation. In post-conventional level, we have um, level number 5, morality of social contrast and democracy. And also, the last one, we have morality of individual principles and conscience. So let's try to uh, identify Haynes' dilemma. Okay. So ito yung yung story na hindi natin ma-distinguish ano yung tama sa mali, no? May mga bagay talaga na gagawa ka ng mali para sa ikabubuti or meron siyang positive outcomes. Ano ba yung mga ganitong example na kadalasan na uh, halimbawa sa school, no? gumawa ng kasalanan yung best friend mo. Like, nangodi ko siya or nangopya, halimbawa, ganyan. Dinaya niya yung assignment niya. And then, ikaw, no, yung right thing talaga na dapat mong gawin is isumbong mo siya sa teacher. Pero dahil best friend mo siya at ayaw mo siyang mapasama, hindi mo na lang siya ginawa. Okay? It's like this one in Haynes' Dilemma. So, let us read this one. So, in Europe, a woman was near death from cancer. One drug might save her. Ito yung gamot, ha? Okay. A form of radium that a druggist in the same town had recently discovered. So, nakapag-invent itong si scientist, halimbawa, ng isang gamot na makakapag-save doon sa asawa ni Haynes. So, the druggist was charging $2,000. Masyadong mahal. 10 times what the drug cost him to make. The sick woman's husband, Haynes, went to everyone he knew to borrow the money, but he could only get together about half of what it cost. He told the druggist that his wife was dying and asked him to sell it cheaper, or let him to sell it cheaper, or let him pay later. But the druggist said, no, kasi ginawa nga naman niya yun. No? Kailangan mo magbayad ng $2,000. The husband got desperate and broke into the man's store to steal the drug for his wife. Ninakaw niya. Should the husband have done that? Should the husband have done that? Why? No, kung mapapansin natin, no, ginawa ni Haynes yun para isave yung buhay ng asawa niya. I-relate natin yun sa life natin. Have you ever experienced ng mga bagay na yun nga, na think tayo ng isang bagay na gumawa tayo ng masama kasi meron naman yung positive outcomes. How would you feel? At somehow may pa rin, no? Andun pa rin yung konsensya. Pero nakasave ka naman ng life. So naghahati tuloy yung yung thinking mo, yung feelings mo, yung emotions mo. Kung ano yung tama sa mali. Ano? Okay? So let's try to answer this one. Even though para naman yun sa ikabubuti ng kanyang asawa, do you think that should Haynes steal the drug? Why or why not? Masasabi ba natin ninakaw niya talaga yun kung para naman talaga sa sa ika sa ikakasave ng life ng kanyang asawa? So if Haynes doesn't love his wife, should he steal the drug for her? Why or why not? Let's try to answer this one kahit sa mga utak lang natin. So, suppose the person dying is not his wife but a stranger. Should Haynes steal the drug for a stranger? Why or why not? Okay, so I am going to give it to you na lang. No? You have the copy naman. I want you to answer this one, pero hindi nyo na need ipasa. No? Sa self na lang natin. Okay? So hopefully you learn a lot from this lesson, from the theory of psychoanalytic theory. Tapos napunta tayo sa psychosocial stages of development. And then we also talk about the moral development according to Lawrence Kohlberg and yung kay John Piaget, yung kanyang cognitive development. So once again, I am Sir Riel, and hopefully na even though marami itong lesson, no, try natin na mag-create or mag-make ng reviewer para mas maintindihan natin siya na doon. Okay? So anyway, thank you so much for listening. Kung may mga questions kayo or some clarifications, you can message me anytime.